Hey everybody, just wanted to do a quick introduction into Freedom Solutions DAO and just basically go over what we're trying to accomplish here, why I feel that this type of an organization can actually bring value into the freedom landscape, and basically do a quick introduction to what we're going to be doing in episode 1, which will actually delve into some specific companies, specific company prototypes, so to speak. So, Freedom Solutions at its foundation is really all about building solutions that fill in gaps that we have in the marketplace to provide real, tangible freedom solutions for people that don't rely on the existing systems, the existing paradigms, the existing way in which we deliver businesses into the marketplace, right? So most businesses today are fraught with all sorts of interference from government through licensure regulations, all sorts of taxation, of course, things that basically dissolve or create a big barrier to entry for new solutions. And certainly, if you were to build something that's very much freedom centric into the marketplace, you would have a very difficult time actually competing against the existing institutions, both because of their embedded basically the embedded favoritism that they have in the regulatory system. As an example, if you're trying to buy up a bunch of spectrum to start a mesh, peer-to-peer mesh network, something that's near and dear to my heart, having worked at T-Mobile in the past, you have to go beg the FCC to have spectrum in order to have wireless spectrum, and you have to be in bed with them. You have to pay them all sorts of money, supposedly regulatory and licensure, capital. But the reality is it's just the barrier to entry, and so it's very difficult for an average Joe or an individual to launch something into the marketplace that's scalable, that supports the entire globe potentially in terms of scale, and do this without running into all these barriers to entry and running into the friction of the current legal system and things of that nature. So my goal here is to start building a number of incubations which actually solve that problem. So we'll get to some tangible examples in a few seconds, but the idea is that through this apparatus of Freedom Solutions DAO, we'll be able to conceptualize, build and mature these concepts to a very fundable level, in the sense we'll be able to define these businesses to a point where VC traditionally would invest in them. In this case, of course, the crowd's going to invest in them. We'll build the actual DAO itself into the marketplace. We'll build at a prototype level. And then throughout this entire process, the entire business concepts, the biz ops, so business operations, the code, and everything else is all going to be open source, completely available, and completely transparent. So everyone will get to see all of the making, all things that go into actually cooking a real business and delivering that in the marketplace. And I'm looking for people to actually own that afterwards and go run with it. So I kind of coin it as I have a lot less time in my life than I do ideas. So I want to try to make as much change as humanly possible before I die. And hopefully you guys will help me with that. So without further ado, I want to get into basically the next major component, getting a little more tactical about what we actually do. So Freedom Solutions, our goal is to walk you, the average individual, maybe you're a teenager just getting into software development or getting into business development, or you're just passionate about the industry of business and moving things forward in the freedom market. If you're excited by those things, we're going to help you understand how to make your dreams a reality, right? So one of the key things I want to do is I want to empower people with what we're doing here by showing them the secret sauce, right, behind building companies, building software, and launching them in the marketplace. It's a really difficult craft, and one of the people I admire a lot is Eric Reyes. He has really built this concept around lean startups and this whole methodology wrapped around lean startups, which really is just basically taking human nature the nature of human beings to iterate, to adapt, to evolve, and applying that to a business concept, and how you actually incubate and develop and launch a business into the marketplace. And so we're going to walk you through that process. We're going to kind of teach as we go along. It's going to be on-the-job training, so to speak. We're all going to be pitching in to help build some of these solutions, and everyone will get to see the secret sauce, right? That happens, that goes on to actually launch a business in the marketplace. And hopefully this will give a level of maturity to some of the new DApps and new DAOs and all these new decentralized technologies that have kind of built these new startups in the crypto space, that there's been a minimal level of maturity behind them. Of course, they're really young in terms of their incubation. They're generally headed by very young people, which is great. But there's this whole pedigree of lessons learned that people in the business era have learned, that there's some valuable things to capture, right, from past experience, from VCs, and from previous startups in the violent or fiat world, right, as we would call it. And so let's take some of those good practices and put them in place in a very crypto-centric world, right? So anyway, the goal here is to, like I mentioned, the kind of elevator pitch here is basically to build solutions from concept all the way to prototype, and then find evangelists to take those and move them forward. And so that's the whole mission of this particular organization, and we're going to be walking through a number of different solutions, and you guys actually get to vote on the solutions that we bring into the marketplace. So there'll be some technologies wrapped around UberGuard is one of our first ones. The idea is decentralized safety, so kind of peer-to-peer police, but from a voluntary perspective. Obviously, it'll be private investigators that you'll be able to leverage as well, and in addition to kind of corporate security guards that are looking over large pieces of property or security operations, so larger scale type defense solutions. And one of the key pillars here is that because we're basically moving safety out of the realm of government and in the realm of per individuals and basically free market, so that you can go out and pick the person who's going to help defend you. You could be friends or family or professional that you would call up just as if you get an Uber taxi, right? So the idea here is that you'll be able to use the other individuals in the crowd to be able to actually protect you, because one of the key issues with police, besides the fact that they're controlled by government, is the fact that which makes them basically unaccountable, except for to the politicians, is that there's an average response time of like 14 minutes. So the laws of physics basically just dictate that the way we do safety today, regardless of any other paradigm, is completely useless, right, and completely unfunctional. And so this will actually, marry you with local peers in terms of connect you with local peers that can provide you safety, etc. Science Starter is another one, and we'll go into the details of all these as we go forward, of course, and that'll be the foundation of episode 1. But wanted to give you a quick intro into what we're actually talking about, so that you guys can feel the tangibility of what we're trying to do here. So Science Starter is basically, as I kind of show here, is from science to products, right? So today science is, again, another one of those industries that are hugely manipulated, funded by special interests, of course, and you can't really buck the current narrative that goes on either in politics or in the industry in which you're doing your scientific research, or even if it's just pure bold scientific research into physics or whatever. There's a lot of stuff that can't be said or can't be researched or can't be brought to bear in the kind of the common space and in the news and all these different informational areas, because of the fact that it is not PC, right? It's not designed to be politically correct. So science shouldn't be that. Science should just be facts, and those facts should be tangible and valuable to you, Like you should be defining, what the science is and where the money's going to fund the science, not some corporate interest or some government, even much worse than a corporate interest, right? So the idea here is that we put you in control. So what we'd be basically building here is a Kickstarter for science. And so from a conceptualization perspective, you as someone who's interested in science, or you as someone who's interested in a particular product, that hasn't been built yet, could go and fund science either from the product perspective, like I want to mine asteroids, and then you build a vision around that mining of asteroids, and then people can build the prerequisite science and fund that prerequisite science to get things accomplished. So this one's really interesting. It's going to be really fun. I think this one's really tangible for a lot of people, and I think there's actually a lot of legs with this one, right? And it'd be interesting to see where this one goes. And again, we're going to develop all this stuff from concept all the way to prototype code, and then give it to someone to run with. Ideally, I'm not here to control who runs with it. It'll be all open source, so you can fork it if you want. But the idea is hopefully we can find a curator before we get completely done with it to help run it. So, and of course have influence into the concept. So the last one is DTube. It's a decentralized YouTube. It's something that's kind of near and dear to my heart, since I've seen so many different YouTube channels in and of themselves be censored or have some sort of legal liability because they have a freaking song in the background or whatever. All these copyright violations and all these just excuses to try to censor people, try to reduce creative control, and things of that nature. I think that's absurd, and I think most people agree. And this application is really going to enable us to basically capture all of humanity's interests, their thoughts, the way we express ourselves into video, right? Into multimedia in a way that that has impacted humans since the dawn of movies, right? So the dawn of video that is very emotional, very powerful. It's very transformative to the understanding of humanity. And then we'll be able to actually archive all of this. So the beautiful part, with all sorts of decentralized technologies these days is, like IPFS and a few others, we're able to archive this stuff permanently, so long as, of course, someone's seeding the content within the network, which in an IPFS perspective, everyone shares a particular piece, right, of the basically the hashed out file, and so it's always available, so long as there's nodes available. And the beauty of this is not only will we provide a decentralized YouTube for people to actively share videos, collaborate on videos, but also archive those videos. So we won't ever have a loss of these wonderful creations that people make because of censorship or because of somebody taking it down, etc. It's just impossible now, right? So anyway, so those are the main ones we'll be talking about. I hope that's gotten you excited, and look forward to seeing everyone in episode 1, where we actually go into the details of these things. And looking forward to your feedback. Looking forward to feedback wrapped around how I present these things, how I define these things. Obviously, looking for feedback as well on which one you actually want us to pursue first. And then just in general, love to collaborate with people, looking for people to interview. I want these shows to be not just about us building kind of these initial prototypes and these initial concepts to a prototype phase, but also talk to industry leaders, collaborate with people on the show in terms of actually building these things, and in general, look for the crowd to actually help us build this. So I'll just give you a very quick hint and preview of what's to come. Again, this show in and of itself is basically a micro experiment, kind of an extrapolation of Eric Race's concept. This show in and of itself is going to be an experiment. So we're going to put this into the marketplace. We're going to see if you guys like it, if you donate, and we're able to basically build a quality product and a product that you guys are willing to fund. Then we'll continue to do this in the future. If not, then we'll close it all. We'll close shop and evolve and see what else is right for the marketplace. So please let me know if this interests anybody at all, and if this is where people would like to see kind of the future of incubations, especially in the freedom world. This is all kind of focused on the concept of building solutions that are very tangible for freedom, that people can touch and hold and use and actually experience freedom in the moment, right? Like Bitcoin and create other cryptocurrencies. So just real quick hint, we're going to go through a very in-depth kind of model on how you actually build a business. So you'll be able to see all the parts and pieces that go into conceptualization to biz ops to how you build revenue streams and how you get into execution strategy and go to market and all this other stuff that's really super important to build a business at scale, right? The first incubations, which we just quickly talked about, we have Science Starter, of course, which is one of the key ones, from science to products, right? That's our motto. We're going to go into UberGuard, safety that actually works, right? And then the third one is really DTube, like we mentioned, end censorship forever, let humanity speak, right? The value is that human beings have to have a platform in which they can collaborate and communicate uncensored. So really, the key thing about all this is you decide the feature. You decide which projects we go after. You decide whether or not even this channel and the show and everything we do is even valuable. You're going to drive the decisions we make. You're going to collaborate, helping us to build this as we launch a lot of the open source components. We're going to show you all the special sauce, like I said, all the kind of ugly sausage making that goes into business concepts and building software and everything else, all the challenges. I'm even willing to record every second of my software development if you like, if that would be super interesting to some people. But my goal is to make it entertaining and interesting to people, so I capture your attention, but also show you how things work. But you guys decide how deep we get into the sausage making, right? Versus how mid-level we take it. So again, you guys control the decisions. There's going to be a voting mechanism based on basically crypto wallets. So UberGuard will have its own crypto wallet, Science Starter will have its own crypto wallet, DTube will have its own, and these will be both Bitcoin and Ethereum. And so based on how much donations go into those will be which one we choose first. The donations that you have that you have submitted, if we did say UberGuard wins and Science Starter DTube don't, will remain in those buckets, those wallets. And then in the next round of voting, you'll be able to actually leverage that as a foundation for the next vote. And then we're only going to do kind of 3 votes at a time. And once we're done with one, then we'll move on to the next one, etc. And so, believe me, there's plenty of ideas. These are the first 3 that are relatively mature and I think have a tremendous impact on freedom today. So in the next video, in episode 1, we'll actually go into the wallets that you can donate and things like that. So. Last one is about the show. So please subscribe, share, donate. You guys power the show. You guys fuel the show. You guys are the show, really. We're going to have call-in shows as well. We're going to have you guys developing things for us. You're going to have us providing us feedback. So this is all about you. So you can decide how this actually functions, right? So you can donate via Bitcoin. It's all here, in terms of QR code as well as the wallet ID, PayPal or Ethereum. So looking forward to seeing you guys in the first episode.